Okay. Good morning. It's 9 o'clock, time for the Cowlitz County Board of Commissioners. If you'll join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a rather full agenda this morning. We will have the minutes of the May 5th meeting, have our consent agenda for today. We have a proclamation, opportunity for public comment, and we will hold the public comment to 3 minutes prior to the motion items. Anybody that wishes to speak, we will be available afterwards. I apologize to Mr. Von Rock. Last week I said I would have public comments after our rural economic development funds, and I forgot to do that, but we will do that today. Then we will take our motion items. At 9:30 we have a timed item, so wherever we are, if we're not done with our motion items, we will stop that and go into the presentation of the second round of certificates for the lien activities. At 11 a.m. we will have requests for proposals for a landfill scale. Moving on, gentlemen.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. I have had a chance to review the minutes of our May 5th meeting. They are in order. I move their adoption.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye. That passes. Now we have the consent agenda. Those items we take with one vote.
Yes, consent agenda. We have the call for bids, Columbia Crest Estates Arsenic Treatment, project number 9149, and a few correspondence. I move to approve the consent agenda.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye. That passes. We now have the proclamation for the Peace Officers Memorial Day and specifically National Police Week. I'll read the proclamation. Whereas the Congress and President of the United States have designated May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day and the week in which May 15th falls as National Police Week, and whereas there are approximately 900,000 law enforcement officers serving in communities across the United States, including dedicated members of the Cowlitz County Sheriff's Office, and whereas some 60,000 assaults against law enforcement officers are reported each year, resulting in approximately 16,000 injuries, and whereas since the first recorded death in 1791, more than 19,000 law enforcement officers in the United States have made the ultimate sacrifice and been killed in the line of duty, and whereas the names of these dedicated public servants are engraved on the walls of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in Washington, D.C., and whereas 126 names are being added to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial this spring, 126 killed in 2014, including one in the state of Washington, and now, therefore, the Board of Commissioners of Cowlitz County, Washington, to hereby designate the week of May 10th through May 16th, 2015 as Police Week in Cowlitz County, and publicly salute the service of law enforcement officers in our community and communities across the nation. We further direct that pursuant to Public Law 103-322 that all flags be flown at half-staff on May 15, 2015, Peace Officers Memorial Day, in honor of fallen officers and their families. Certainly, this is for all of the officers in the county. The sheriff has provided us with this proclamation, and we do appreciate the work of all the officers. Sheriff, would you like to say a few words?
Morning, Commissioners. Cowlitz County Sheriff Mark Nelson. This past Friday, I had the opportunity of helping Governor Inslee and Washington Attorney General Bob Ferguson present the state's highest law enforcement award, the Law Enforcement Medal of Honor, to 9 individual officers from across our state for their bravery under fire or for life-risking actions to save the life of another person. On Thursday, I will go down to Clark County and help present this same award to the survivors of 3 Clark County deputies, actually 2 deputies, and the survivor of the sheriff down there who lost their lives in the line of duty, 2 from the 1920s and 1 from the 1970s. Most men and women who enter law enforcement do so with the idea and vision of making their community a better place. When asked, nearly every young officer will tell you that they get into law enforcement because they want to help people, and help people they do. These officers serve in lots of different capacities. They are a source for direction to a lost motorist. They provide wise counsel to some complex problems. They give first aid to injured people, and they comfort those who are hurting. They also investigate crimes, enforce traffic laws, and arrest those who break the law. You'll find law enforcement officers serving on their own time in your churches, your city government, your schools, many nonprofits, coaching sports teams, their husbands and wives and fathers and mothers and grandfathers and grandmothers. They mow, they paint, they plant, they clean, just like every other person in our community. Yet each day they don a uniform complete with badge and a gun and prepare for the streets. Most days are filled with phone calls, investigative reports, patrol, citizen contacts. Some are filled with triumph, some with tragedy. Each day, they must be prepared for any and all of these things to happen. Every year, over 100 officers die in the line of duty, many at the murderous hands of another person, as we've recently seen in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Across our nation today, there's a wave of fear and doubt about law enforcement. The actions of law enforcement officers are questioned and examined. After investigation, most of these actions will turn out to be reasonable. Some will be determined to be unreasonable, and corrective actions will be taken. However, at any given time, there are tens of thousands of law enforcement officers on duty in our country. They're out there doing the right things for the right reasons. They're serving, they're protecting, they're giving, they're sacrificing, and some will make that ultimate sacrifice. The men and women of law enforcement here in Cowlitz County are not infallible, of course. In fact, they're just like the folks we serve. They're just people. Yet this week we set aside to honor those who serve their community as their guardians, not warriors. I'd like to invite you all to participate in our 5th annual Candlelight Vigil this coming Thursday night on the 14th at 8:30 p.m. at the Seventh-day Adventist Church parking lot, just as a time to remember. I'd like to thank the board, all citizens of Cowlitz County, for the recognition of service for our law enforcement officers, and especially the men and women of the Cowlitz County Sheriff's Office, with whom I am proud to serve. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Sheriff. We do appreciate those great words. It's unfortunate that law enforcement can get painted with the same brush of things that may occur outside of us, but certainly trust of law enforcement officers is one of the key activities or key concerns, and we do appreciate the work of you and your department and also the rest of the law enforcement officers in Cowlitz County. So thank you very much. Gentlemen.
Mr. Chairman, I move we adopt the proclamation declaring May 10th through the 16th as Police Week in Cowlitz County, with May 15th being the actual Peace Officers Memorial Day.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye. That passes. We'll sign the proclamation then. So along with the sheriff, we also have members of the Cowlitz County Chaplaincy, certainly another vital activity in the community, that the community is much better for their service. So if you'd like to speak, please.
Commissioners, citizens. Working as chaplains, we see a different side of law enforcement. Chaplains are usually not called out for birthday parties, bar mitzvahs, whatever. When we're called out, it's usually at the worst moment in somebody's life. And we see the officers deployed in the field at fatality accidents and drownings. We see in-home deaths. And we see the compassion that our men and women in our sheriff's office bring to the community. We see the dignity in which they treat the victims of fatality accidents. We see the integrity that they bring to their office. And because of that, it makes us proud to be able to serve alongside of our deputies in this county. And as a chaplain, I wanted you, the commissioners, to know the quality of the Sheriff's Department that serves for this community. And I just wanted to emphasize that. Thank you for the opportunity to serve alongside these deputies.
Well, again, thank you for your service and the service of all the chaplains, and attending the chaplain's breakfast and hearing the really heart-rending stories that come up. You have a difficult job, but certainly a job that benefits the community, as you said, in some of people's greatest times of need. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Chaplain Gambaro, are there other chaplains here? And
Yes. Our Executive Director, Tom Hahn, is present. I've been around the longest, so I just hold the title of Senior Chaplain now. But
appreciate it.
we have Doug Fields, who is on call. He's already been out this morning on a call. And we have a senior volunteer, Flip Island, who also serves. So the county is actually blessed. We have 4 chaplains, and so far this year, there's been 3 opportunities where we've had 3 chaplains in the field at one time on one event. So we're an extra added plus to the county because we don't cost you guys a dime. So
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Thank you, Commissioner. All right. Well, thank you very much. And then we will move on to our public comments. This is public comments on any items not on the motion agenda. If you wish to speak to an item on the motion agenda, we'll recognize you there. Yes, sir. And like I said, we will limit it at this time to 3 minutes. Okay. And I do have, just to recognize Mr. Fess, you did provide a letter for the...
Yeah, Mike Fess, Calama, 135 Pond Drive. I wrote a letter to the editor, and I'm just going to read it because it's my sentiments. As you know, we had some discussion about the compliance officer last time for the building department. So recently, the county commissioners voted 2-to-1 to hire a building code enforcement officer. This will cost over $100,000 per year of your tax dollars. If building permits were issued in a timely manner, citizens would not have to wait months for a building permit. Many have put up carports and other projects when they couldn't get a permit from the county building department in a timely manner. The commissioners must fix the long wait problem for permits. Throwing money at the problem by having a compliance officer will not fix the long wait. I hope the commissioners will reconsider hiring a building code compliance officer. If the county has an extra $100,000, I would like to see another deputy sheriff or more funding for the homeless shelters or more programs for children. Joe Gardner was the commissioner that voted against spending $100,000 on a compliance officer. And another comment that I thought of after I wrote this letter, but I didn't include it. If citizens could get a timely permit, and you guys fixed it up so it's not a long wait, I would suggest sending out a notice to the people that did build without a permit. Say, we understand the problem. Come in and get a building permit, and we will send a building inspector out there, and then you put the whole thing to bed about a compliance officer. So it was under 3 minutes, so that's what I got to say.
Thank you, sir. Just to make one thing clear, Commissioner Gardner was not present and not in office when we agreed to hire the compliance officer. That was done in November. Vote was 2-1 at the time, but we have moved forward from that point. So again, that was done in November. Does anybody else wish to speak? Name and address for the record, please.
Chuck Hendrickson, Executive Director of Love Overwhelming, 304 Cowlitz Way, Kelso, Washington. I just wanted to come in and give you guys an update, where we are, what we've been doing, some of the changes that we've made. As you guys know, we've had an influx of families over at our facility, accessing all of our services, all 6 of those. So with that, we had to make some changes in regards to the services that we provide to registered sex offenders. With that, we have changed that. We are not allowing sex offenders on site. We contacted Sheriff Mark Nelson as well as Offender Services of the county. We've also been in contact with Kelso Police Department, who have they've all made recommendations to us, and we are taking those and we are looking at what we can do to best keep the people that we're serving safe, the people that are trying to get services safe, as well as the community. So I just wanted to let you know about that. Really want to thank Carlos of the Health and Human Services for the county. They've been really good with some technical assistance with us, made some recommendations, and we were able to go in and change everything based off of his recommendations that he gave with him and Dr. Vines. So that's been really good. We really appreciate that. The other thing is that you guys asked us, and I got some papers for you. There was concern with us drawing people here from out of county, and so we changed up our targeted eligibility screening to be able to capture that data after conversations that I had with you, commissioners, and other people in the community. And so I just wanted to point that out. So during from March 23rd to May 8th, that's when March 23rd is when we changed up the screening tool. We had 262 total targeted eligibility screenings. Out of that 262, we had 251 of those that were here in our county, and 11 of them that were out of our county. And you can see the breakdown of that as well. So 0 to 3 months in our county, there were 34. 3 to 6 months, there were 7. 6 months to a year, there were 19. And then 1 year plus being in the county receiving our services were 202 households. So we just wanted to bring that to you. Of course, that's only 7 weeks there, so we'll continue to get that data as we go. The other thing that I wanted to point out is that from January to March, we were able to assist.
A minute, so.
We are able to assist, support, and encourage and empower 45 different households representing, I think it was 63 individuals because of the families into a housing solution. So we're really proud of that and our efforts for that. So thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chuck.
Does anybody else wish to speak? Mr. Bridges.
Good morning. For the record, my name is Mike Bridges. I live at 252 Tanglewood, Longview, Washington. And it's been a while since I've been to one of these, and I wanted to kind of reintroduce myself. I think I know everybody up there, but fairly recently, I became the president of the Longview Kelso Building Trades. I've been involved with the construction trades for a long time, but we had a shift of leadership there. And so just kind of reintroduce myself as that contact person. I've been working with you guys for a long time, and there's some things that we've worked on in the past that I'd like to maybe continue. We all get busy, and I just kind of reminded by some of the projects and things that I see on the agenda that we need to make sure that when we have opportunities with construction projects and stuff, that we're getting the most bang for our buck and training apprentices and stuff. And so maybe we can get back to working on some type of apprenticeship utilization requirements. No rush. I just thought of it as I was looking at the agenda. And I wanted to thank you guys for the work that you guys do. And I'd be open to collaborating with anything that I can help from my side, as far as like the 432 things that we're working on with that, and all the other construction projects that are in the pipeline. Just wanted to make sure that you guys know you can reach out to me, you know, and if I can't get up to Olympia, I'll make sure, you know, I can get somebody up there. But a lot of these things, as I'm doing my job, I realize that it takes building a coalition. You know, we're a lot stronger if we're working together as community partners, and you guys do a great job of doing that. Just wanted to say thanks.
Well, thank you, and we do appreciate your support of 432, 433, and allowing us to use your resources in Olympia to support that.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to yield any of my extra time to Mr. Von Rock, too.
Mr. Von Rock.
Rick Von Rock, 400 North 7th in Kelso. There's been a lot of discussion on the enforcement officer for building and planning. I understand the issues, and I understand some of the problems. I'm not for any less government or more government. I'm just for good government. And I think good government does the right things to take care of the people in our county. And if there's issues within a department, well, it's up to the citizens to come and discuss them. But likewise, it's up to the citizens to follow the current rules. So if all rules were being followed, there wouldn't be a need for an enforcement officer. So citizens have a certain responsibility as well. And I encourage that citizens do their part, and if they're interested in less government, and if all rules were followed and everything, what we could do with less government. But until then, we have to follow the current guidelines and rules we have. Whether it takes a little longer to get a permit, understanding. Still follow the rule, go with it, and then do what needs to be done. So thank you for the time on that.
Thank you, Mr. Von Rock. Yesterday, during our workshop with building and planning, we did get some facts. I won't read through those, but anybody that's interested in some of the data on the time it takes to get a permit, the average time, the complaint rate and stuff, that information is available. And if you'd contact one of the commissioners, certainly, or Dr. Placido, we'd be more than happy to provide the statistics we have available. Does anybody else wish to speak on any item not on the motion agenda? All right. And certainly we would be available after the meeting. Anybody who wishes to speak to us individually, and our offices are always open. So moving on to the motion agenda, the first item on the motion agenda is a contract with Tapani for the Cowlitz County Headquarters Landfill Cell 7 construction project. And Mr. Junker, could you speak a little bit to this one, please?
Good morning, Commissioners. Ron Junker, Public Works. Yes, Cell 7 construction will begin here in earnest after this is approved. We did receive a bid of $4,381,000. It's about $980,000 less than our engineering estimate. And the Tapani is recommending that they provide a bond in lieu of retainage, and that bond will be valued at $219,091, which is 5% of the awarded contract.
So there's always a concern or comments about being below the engineering estimate. In this case, I sat through the bid opening, and it was interesting. This was obviously the low bid. The high bid was for more than $8 million. Many bids above the engineer's estimate of about $5.3 million. So, like you said, this is about $900,000 below, and significant spread in the bids in this case.
Yes, so there were 7 bids received. Actually, we had 4 of them fairly close, within $100,000. Then we had 3 that were significantly higher. One a little over $800,000.
Okay. Questions, gentlemen?
Mr. Junker, I did have a question. In the documentation on the agenda that we received, there was an addendum to the plans and specs that raised the unit price for miscellaneous construction from $10,000 to $100,000. That seems like a huge jump. Can you explain what happened, why we needed to make that a change, and what impact that might have had on the bidding?
I cannot because I don't have that information in front of me, but I can provide that at a later date.
Doesn't have anything to do with the decision to retain and to award.
No.
They are definitely the lowest qualified bidder. But
Yes, sir.
if you
They
get
are.
back to me on that, I'd appreciate it. Just
We
seemed
will.
like a big jump.
Anything else? Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to enter into the contract with Tappanee Incorporated for the Cowlitz County Headquarters Landfill Cell 7 construction project. The bid amount of $4,381,834.81, including acceptance of the bond in lieu of retainage.
Right, all those in favor?
Aye?
I also vote aye. That passes. Next item is a request for sole source purchase from Peterson for some repairs to a dozer.
So normally, when we go out to bid, we try to solicit bids from a number of people, hopefully getting the most reasonable rates from the lowest bidder. In this instance, there's only one manufacturer. They have a monopoly to provide that service for the DC CAT. It's a transmission replacement. Staff has looked over the sole bid that we've got. It seems to be as reasonable as they can expect. So it's a little bit out of the ordinary, but we need to go through the motion and approve this request for a sole source for repairs to the DC CAT dozer at the landfill. I so move.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I also vote aye. That passes. Next item is amendment number 1 to the agreement with Wilcox and Flagel for transportation of liquid asphalt products.
Yeah, the original call for bids for the transportation of liquid asphalt was at a price per ton rate without estimating quantities, as the county makes requests to the contractor on an as-needed basis. This amendment changes that to based on actual quantities required, and in order to ensure full payment to the contractor, it is necessary to amend the original contract. I make a motion to approve amendment number 1 to Cowlitz County agreement with Wilcox and Flagel Oil Company for the transportation of liquid asphalt products.
All those in favor?
Aye?
Aye.
I also vote aye. That passes. Next item is a sole source for purchase of an arsenic treatment system.
Yes, as dangerous as it sounds, one of the natural conditions is minute amounts of arsenic in drinking water from all the systems that we have. So it's our responsibility when systems have some failures to make sure that the adequate protection for withdrawing the arsenic is made. This particular proposal deals with a relatively small water system. They have a very difficult time generating the capital revenue to try to ensure that the technologies are acceptable to the state Department of Health. They actually have made money available to do these improvements, and we're implementing that. Anything above the grant has to be generated by the rate holders, and this uses the best technology that's available for this program, a new system that'll be a great improvement for the Columbia Crest Estates water system. Mr. Chairman, I move that we concur with the department's recommendation and approve the sole source purchase for the arsenic treatment system from AdEdge Water Technologies at a cost of $39,828.90.
Mr. Von Rock. And just a comment while Mr. Von Rock's coming up. We are required by state law to take over water systems that have problems. In this case, we have done this, and but there's no cost to the county. Well, it's some cost of our employees' time, but we have to do these activities. So.
Okay, Rick Von Rock, 400 North 7th, as you're doing your duties there, which I appreciate. Now, is this the total cost, or were there some other grants or anything? Is this the total cost of this project?
Last week, I believe, you may not remember, but there was a total cost of, I believe, around $80,000. This is the cost of the actual equipment only for the arsenic removal. So there is a significantly higher total cost. I believe the state gave us a grant for around $220,000, and we've been using that grant for engineering and selection of this process.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Do you have a motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye. That passes. We just have two quick items under the Public Works, so we'll do those quickly and then get on to our presentation. Both of them release of bonds. Number 6, release bond in lieu of retainage to Lakeside Industries.
Yeah, the contract for the 2014 countywide pavement overlay project with Lakeside has been satisfactorily completed. I make a motion to release the bond in lieu of retainage to Lakeside Industries for the 2014 countywide pavement overlay project, number 2224.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I also vote aye. That passes. And item number 7, release a bond to Tappanee.
Right. Tappanee's completed their work in landfill cell 6 and Hall Road improvements, so I move that we release the bond in lieu of retainage to Tappanee for the Cowlitz County Headquarters Landfill Cell 6 and Hall Road improvement project.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I also vote aye. That passes. So we will get to our 9:30 presentation, and then we will return to our motion items. So. This is the second opportunity we've had to recognize county employees who have gone through the training for the lien process, and then part of that, to get their certificate, they have to do a project. A couple of weeks ago, we had the opportunity to present to, I believe, 12 people, and they can talk about their lean process projects. The lean process is improvement in how we do county business. As each one of these gives a short discussion of theirs, you'll see that they cover a variety of things. But the key thing is continuous improvement and continuous improvement in our projects. The first person on the list wasn't able to be here today, Genevieve Haynes from the Assessor's Office, and she did an improvement on the personal property listing form processing. So we'll introduce them, and this is in alphabetical order by their department, and then we'd just like them to say a couple of words about what they did. I'll give the title. So first one is from the Auditor's Office, Amy Hare, and her activity was fillable PDF cover page. So come on up and give us a short summary if you would. If you don't want to, you don't have to, but we would appreciate it.
We have a cover page for recorded documents, and it's available online. Previously, somebody would have to print it out and then handwrite or use a typewriter, so we just changed that to a fillable form to make it easier on everyone. Makes it more legible when it's received by our office, and we're indexing the information, so good all around.
And many of you may think that these are small changes, but if you get a lot of small changes and you can improve your process, you take small steps at a time, and we do appreciate that. The next one is from Corrections, Blaine Lux, and his was Court Disposition Streamline.
Okay, currently what they were doing is on the big court docket days when we take 60-plus inmates over to court, they have to fill out the disposition forms on paper, and they take those to court, and then whatever happens in court, they'll write that information down on this disposition form. And then it would sit there in the courtroom for extended periods of time until somebody had the opportunity to take these disposition forms back over to the jail, where the other court officer would then be able to update the files. Well, the project now using a computer type form to where they can sit in the courtroom with a laptop, fill it out right there in the courtroom. They can hit save. The other officer that's over in the jail can look up that document on the network and start working on the files at that time.
Thank you. Next item, or next one is also from Corrections, our Probation Department, Harmony Netling, successful files.
By law, we have to keep files for 6 years. Those files, excuse me, are kept in, or were kept in, many different areas of the Hall of Justice. So we'd have to take an officer or an administrative staff off of our floor and have them go search for these files. Now, the hundreds of files are kept in our office in alphabetical order. So it eliminated a lot of time that our staff was taking off the floor.
Thank you. And as with many of the improvements, you think to yourself, gee, why didn't somebody think of that before? But sometimes it just takes the time for somebody to step back, look at the process, and say, dang it, we can do this better, and we do appreciate those efforts. Next one is also from Corrections, Jacob Bitten, and he did a correction-related project. Okay, Jacob's not here, all right. 911 dispatch communications, Val Cummings, training records. Okay, she says she doesn't want to talk. That's her choice. Thanks, Val. Information technology, Kristen Young. Contact information on County Mobile website, and I skipped one there, Joe, so I'll get that.
Good morning. My project, what I decided to do was our newly designed websites from, it was about 2 years ago. I noticed that the mobile version for smartphones was not displaying the phone number for departments. So I found myself needing to call a department, and I looked on my phone, and lo and behold, I couldn't find their phone number. So that was the project that I decided to do, was find a way to display the phone number and contact information for each department in the county on smartphones and tablets. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you. And Health and Human Services Department, Environmental Health Unit, Andrea Yoho, shared well flow chart.
Good morning. As part of our shared well application process for a potable water source, we require that applicants will fill out a shared well user's easement and agreement form. And part of this form requires that they give us an accurate description of their property. Based on the type of project that they're doing, this most accurate description can vary, so the flow chart was created to help them find that information.
Law enforcement records, Jennifer Wheeler. Okay, and her project was accident report simplified. Law enforcement records, Julie Harris. And warrant scanning project. And then Public Works, Carrie Cutinaro. Process mail payments. So we do appreciate the effort of all these employees, and the lean process has made the county more successful, more accessible to the citizens, and we hopefully will continue to see processes. So thank you to all of you, and if you'd like to leave now, that's fine, and we'll go back to our regular, somewhat boring business. No, I hand deliver them. All right, continuing on, item number 8, request approval of sole source purchase from ImageSoft from Information Technology.
Yeah, this is another sole source purchase request from ImageSoft. These are for items for the prosecuting attorney's district court and prosecuting attorney's office. We have 2 Canon scanners for use in the prosecuting attorney's office. For support and staff to use, 2 document imaging licenses which allow use of the scanners in the prosecuting attorney's office, maintenance for the above licenses, and maintenance for hardware for 1 year included. I'd like to make a motion to approve the request approval of the sole source purchase from ImageSoft for scanners, licenses, and maintenance for district court and the prosecuting attorney's office. Cost $3,960 plus Washington State sales tax.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye. That passes. Item number 9, request approval purchase for Morris Watchman Incorporated Key Watcher Touch System. Captain Lux or Ms. Fox, give us a summary of this item.
Good morning, Marin Fox Hike, Director of Corrections. This is a replacement of an existing piece of equipment we have. It's our system to check our keys in and out. It is basically aged out. Software is no longer supported. We were able to go with the lowest bidder, which is also our current vendor, and it has expanded our capacity as well.
Any questions, gentlemen?
No, just
Thank
an
you.
upgrade. Mr. Chairman, I move that we concur with the department's request and approve the purchase from Morris Watchman Incorporated for the Key Watcher touch system for 112 keys, using the county vendor list at a cost of $17,742.70, including Washington State sales tax.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye. That passes. Item number 10, Human Resources, the service agreement with Government Jobs Incorporated, or .com.
Yeah, this is the service agreement with NeoGov. This NeoGov is the software that we'll be going to start doing online applications. Instead of people having to come in to turn in their application, they can do it right online. I believe we approved the contract with NeoGov here a few weeks ago at least. This is just the service agreement portion of that. But now this also includes people who apply to boards or committees, not just employment opportunities, but for the Building and Planning Advisory Board, I believe they could, any of those within the county, they could actually apply online now. So see it as a big plus and a step into the new millennium for the county. I'll make a motion to approve the service agreement with governmentjobs.com, doing business as NeoGov, to provide services for an online job application process for a period of 12 months with annual renewal option at cost $17,340, including state sales tax for the first year.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye. That passes. Last item on our motion agenda this morning is from Building and Planning, resolution approving the temporary occupancy for Harry Gardner Park and Campground.
Mr. Chairman, this is a great event, being able to prepare Harry Gardner Park for its grand opening this weekend. We are going to consider the temporary occupancy commit. They're 95% finished, and there's no reason why we can't open it up. They will be able to meet the remaining conditions. A great program put together by volunteer efforts. Good credit to the county and the folks in the Toutle area. I have great pleasure in making the motion to approve the temporary occupancy permit for the Harry Gardner Park and Campground beginning May 12th and continuing for a period of 6 months, or until all the final approved conditions have been met, whichever date occurs first.
Mr. Chairman, before we vote, I would just like to take the opportunity to say thank you. I've had the chance to work with the volunteers at Harry Gardner Park over the last several months. I've had a chance to work with Dan Bean and Dwight Heron in the facilities department, and as well Dr. Placido from Building and Planning. And it was a real team effort on all their parts. They worked really hard and made sure that this park was open and ready to go for the May 18th anniversary weekend at Mount St. Helens. So I just want to extend a huge thank you to everybody involved, and it really truly was an example of teamwork and team effort. And just an invitation to anybody wanting to spend a lovely day up along the banks of the South Toutle River this Saturday from 11 to 2. I would hope any and all could make it.
And we'll hope for good weather.
Yes.
So, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye. That passes. That concludes our motion item. As I said, anybody wishing to speak on any item that wasn't on the motion item this morning? Okay, we will recess this meeting because Friday we have one of my favorite days. That's Youth and Government Day. We'll have about 30 high school students from across Cowlitz County that will come in, be paired up with a elected official or department head, get the opportunity to see what the county does for business and how it does for business. So we will be recessed until 8 a.m. Friday, May 15th.